Throughout recorded history, Genghis Khan is said to be the most fertile man of all time. According to multiple sources, he had over 1,300 biological children at the time of his death, which is insane. Just imagine growing up and your father tells you, you are his 800th child. What will be your reaction? Well, that was the reality of many of Moulay Ismail Sharif children. The story of Moulay Ismail Sharif is a very interesting one. Not only is he the most fertile man in African history and the third man with the most children in the world, he is arguable one of the best sultans in Moroccan history. At the time of his death at age 81, Moulay had over 700 women, and together they had over 868 children for him, 525 sons and 343 daughters. His first marriage is recorded to have taken place in 1670. Historian Abd al-Rahman ibn Zaydan recorded children of around 68 wedded wives and 8 unnamed slave concubines from the royal birth registers kept during the reign of Sidi Mohammed III. He specifies that upon Ismail's death, the full number of his wives and harem slave concubines was 700. Some of his wives were from royal families and slaves from Europe. Before we dive into the fascinating story of Moulay Sharif, if you are new to the channel, welcome. Please subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any of our videos. The story of Moulay is a very interesting one. Not only is he the most fertile man in African history with almost 1,000 children, he attempted on several occasions to convert King James II of England to Islam. He ruled Morocco for 55 years, made the nation flourish, and died as a result of an abscess on his lower abdomen at age 81. Moulay Ismail Ibn Sharif was born in 1645 in Siljamassa, one of the most important trade centers in the Maghreb during the Middle Ages. His father was Moulay Sharif Ibn Ali, Emir of Tafilalt and first sovereign of the Alawite dynasty, and his mother was a black slave. According to Germain Mouzet, a French captive who lived in Morocco until 1682, he was a vigorous man, well-built, quite tall, but rather slender. His face was a clear brown color, rather long, and his features are all quite well-formed. He had a long beard that is slightly forked. The main character traits of Moulay Ismail, according to the chronicles and legends of his period, were his tendency to order and authority, as well as his iron will. He put his strength and power at the service of this unyielding will. If God gave me the kingship, man cannot take it from me. He is reported to have said, this will was always apparent in his actions and decisions. According to Dominique Busna, the color of his clothes was linked to his mood. 3 rulers preceded Ismail Ibn Sharif before he became Sultan of Morocco. His father, Moulay Sharif, then his 2 half-brothers respectively, Sidi Mohammed and Moulay Rashid. As the first sovereign of the Alawite dynasty from 1631, Moulay Sharif Ali, the father of Moulay Sharif, succeeded in keeping Tafilalt outside the authority of the Zawiya of Dilla, a Sufi brotherhood in Morocco. He abdicated in 1636 and his eldest son, Sidi Mohammed Ibn Sharif, succeeded him. Under the latter's reign, the Alawite realm expanded into the north of the country, to Tafna and the Dra River, and managed to capture the Ottoman city of Alja. His half-brother, Moulay Rashid, rebelled against him, and managed to kill him on the 3rd of August 1664 in a battle on the plain of Angad, near Alja. Moulay Ismail chose to support Rashid and was rewarded by being appointed governor of Meknes. There, Moulay Ismail devoted himself to the region's agriculture and commerce in order to increase his wealth, while Moulay Rashid reigned as Sultan of Tafilalt and then as Sultan of Morocco after his conquest of Fez on 27 May 1664. Rashid further entrusted Ismail with military control of the north of Morocco and made him Caliph of Fez in 1667, while he fought in the south of Morocco. Rashid conquered the Zawiya of Dilla in 1668 and then took 2 years to overcome rebels at Marrakesh before he broke into the city in 1669. On 6 April 1670, in the presence of his brother Sultan Moulay Rashid, Moulay Ismail celebrated his first marriage at Fez to the daughter of a Saladi prince. On 25 July, he put to death 60 brigands from al-Jama by crucifying them on the wall of the Borj el-Jadid in Fez. While Rashid continued his campaigns against the independent tribes of the High Atlas, he was killed on 9 April 1672 at Marrakesh after falling off his horse. On 13 April After he had learned of Rashid's death, Moulay Ismail rushed to Fez, where he took possession of his brother's treasury and then proclaimed himself Sultan of Morocco on 14 April 1672, at the age of 26. This proclamation occurred around 2 p.m. and a grand ceremony followed. The whole population of Fez, including the nobles, intellectuals, and sheriffs, swore to be loyal to the new sovereign, as did the tribes and cities of the Kingdom of Fez, who sent embassies and presents to him. Only Marrakesh and the region around it did not send an embassy. Ismail fixed his capital at Meknes on account of the water supply and climate of the town. After seizing power, Moulay Ismail faced several rebellions. Most significant was the revolt of his nephew Moulay Ahmed Ben Merez, son of Moulay Mirid Merez, then the rebellions of his brothers, including Harem Ibn Sharif, who assumed the title of King of Tafilalt. The Tetuan warlord Kader Jaylan also resisted Sultan Ismail, along with several tribes and religious groups. The reign of Moulay Ismail marked a high watermark for Moroccan power. His military successes are explained by the creation of a strong army, originally relying on the Guiches and on the Black Guard, black slaves who were totally devoted to him. As a result, the central power could be less reliant on tribes that often rebelled. Moulay Ismail failed against the Regency of Algiers during the Battle of Moulouya in 1692, as he tried to expand his territory towards Tlemcen. Moulay Ismail once again attempted to capture Oran, which was under Spanish rule. He had some success in pushing back the tribes of the Regency of Algiers, until the Algerian Bey Mustafa cooperated with the Spaniards in pushing back Moulay Ismail's army. Moulay Ismail engaged in the Maghribi War against the Regency of Algiers. He was successful in conquering the Western Beylik. He even looted the palace of the Bey. His army was subsequently pushed back in the Battle of Chelif in 1701. He participated in other minor battles, such as Lagoat in 1708, which ended successfully. He expelled the Europeans from the ports they had occupied: Larache, Assalah, Media, and Tangier. He took thousands of Christians prisoner and nearly took Ceuta. Ismail controlled a fleet of corsairs based at Salalavu and Salalanu, now Rabat, which supplied him with European Christian slaves and weapons through their raids in the Mediterranean and all the way to the Black Sea. He established significant diplomatic relations with foreign powers, especially the Kingdom of France, Great Britain, and Spain, often compared to his contemporary, Louis XIV, due to his charisma and authority. Moulay Ismail was nicknamed the Bloody King by the Europeans due to his extreme cruelty and exaction of summary justice upon his Christian slaves. He is also known in his native country as the Warrior King. He also made Meknes his capital and undertook the construction of an enormous citadel and palace complex next to its old city, which included several grand residences, gardens, monumental gates, mosques, and more than 40 kilometers of walls. The rest of Moulay Ismail's reign was marked by military setbacks and family problems relating to the succession. In May 1692, Moulay Ismail felt his son Moulay Zaydan with a large army to attack Ottoman Algeria. He was defeated by the Ottomans, who counterattacked and advanced as far as Fez. Ismail offered his submission to the Dey of Algiers and had to send an embassy to Algiers to make peace. He thus fixed his borders with the Kingdom of Algiers at the Moulouya River. In 1693, Moulay Ismail raided the Oran region and attempted to plunder the Beni Amr, which was successful. The city of Oran resisted 2 attacks, leading to the Sultan's retreat. This time, it was the Turks who sent envoys to make peace, at the initiative of the Ottoman Sultan, Ahmed I. In 1699, Moulay Ismail participated in the Maghribi War and was successful in capturing the Beylik of Mascara, and advanced with about 50,000 men as far as the Chelif River, but his army was routed by the Algerians at the Battle of Chelif in 1701. Ismail, wounded in the fighting, had to escape on horseback and narrowly escaped capture. Moulay Ismail fought other minor conflicts with the Ottoman Algeria, such as Lagoat in 1708, which turned out successful. Between 1699 and 1700, Moulay Ismail divided the provinces of Morocco between his children. Moulay Ahmed was given responsibility for the province of Tadla and a force of 3,000 black guards. Moulay Abdul Malik was entrusted with Dra province, with a Kasbah and 1,000 cavalry. Moulay Mohammed al-Alim received Sousse and 3,000 cavalries. Moulay El Mamoun commanded Sijil Massa and received 500 cavalry. When he died, he was replaced 2 years later by Moulay Yusuf. Moulay Zaydan received command of Churg, east, but he lost it after the Ottomans attacked and Ismail made peace with them. He was then replaced by Moulay Hafid. This division of the realm provoked jealousy and rivalry between Ismail's sons, which sometimes degenerated into open clashes. In one of these, Moulay Abdul Malik was defeated by his brother, Moulay Nasser, who took control of the whole of Dra. Moulay Sharif was appointed governor of Dra by his father in place of Abdul Malik and succeeded in retaking the region from Nasser. A faithful and pious follower of his religion, he attempted to convert King James II of England to Islam, sending him letters whose sincerity and religious feeling are inarguable. Dominique Busnot, who was generally critical of Ismail, asserted that he had a great attachment to his law and publicly practiced all the ceremonies, ablutions, prayers, fasts, and feasts with scrupulous precision. He enjoyed debating theology with the Trinitarians in Morocco on points of controversy. On many occasions, when returning from the mosque on Fridays, he asked for Trinitarians to be brought into his court. During a debate with the Fathers of Mercy, he said this: "I'd have said enough for a man who uses reason. If you are stubborn, that is too bad. We are all children of Adam, and therefore brothers. It is only religion that creates a difference between us. It is, therefore, as a brother and in obedience to the commandments of my law, that I charitably advise you that the true religion is that of Muhammad, which is the only one in which one can find salvation. I give you this advice for the sake of my conscience, and in order to be justified in charging you on the day of judgment." Moulay Ismail Ibn Sharif finally died on 22 March 1727 at the age of 81 from an abscess in his lower abdomen. His reign lasted 55 years, making him the longest reigning Moroccan monarch. He was succeeded by Moulay Ahmed. Both he and Ahmed were buried in the same mausoleum in Meknes. The empire immediately fell into civil war as a result of a rebellion of the Black Guards. More than 7 claimants to the throne succeeded to power between 1727 and 1757. Some of them repeatedly, like Moulay Abdallah, who was Sultan 6 times. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed watching, please give this video a thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe and share with your friends.